Supervisors, please take your seats. And join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a roll call, please? Thank you. Supervisor Berg, Kubicki, and Decker are excused. Moving on, we have citizens' comments. Any citizens wishing to speak, you have 5 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Any citizens' comments? Hello. Please state your name and address for the record.
101 56th Avenue, Kenosha. That's in Summers. I live right on KR on the corner of 56th Avenue. My concern is with the widening of KR and how it's going to affect my family's quality of living over there. And what they plan on doing is, yes, they're going to go to the north, but starting at 56th Avenue East on the south side of KR, that's where I live, they're going to take down approximately 60 of my mature pine trees, which are not all mine. Some are right on the property line, but we planted them all, and we've been taking care of all this property over there and paying a great portion of taxes on it, to the tune of, at the last 17 years, about $100,000. And last year, they put a bike path through there with no consideration, effectively making our yard an extension of Petrified Springs. The property that we've been taking care of and loved, and now what they want to do is remove these trees and take approximately 10 feet plus on our property, because it's starting at 10 feet near 56th Avenue, and then it's going to head south, which is going to take more and almost end up near our garage, to put a very big ditch in there. There already is a deep ditch right there, but my concern is that that it's going to remove our privacy even further than this bike path did. They are going to dig up a bike path that they spent a bundle of money on just to rip it up, and a lot of frustration to us. We can't even leave our garage door shut anymore. I mean, we moved out in the county for a reason, but that's water under the bridge, so to speak, with this. I've been on the phone with all of these people, the Andy Bueller, I've been to all the meetings. I can't get a straight answer. Every time I turn around, the plans change a little bit, and it becomes more and more intrusive. The recent one was when we saw that the line was going right through our property over 10 feet. And they say, oh, we'll plant more trees for you. Well, you can't replace that kind of sound barrier with new trees. But I guess my big concern is that west of 56th Avenue, there will be no big ditch like that. So all of a sudden, you cross the road and you're into my yard, and you're going to create this really deep, really wide, I don't know, why do they need like 20, 30 feet of, ditch next to somebody's property? So when I talked to Steve Hoff yesterday at the DOT, he told me that the plans would be pretty much solidified by December, and come springtime, that Kenosha County was going to start to acquire the property and start the proceeding. And I've heard the word thrown around, that dreaded word, eminent domain, if we refuse to play by the rules that they're setting before us. I don't want to visit that, but those are what I heard, and I'm just here tonight to ask you guys, when you get these papers across your desk and you need to start acquiring property from the homeowners, that you would consider the people that are living there and how it affects them, and that we chose to live in Kenosha County for a reason, and we'd like to protect that privacy and the sound. It's already very noisy out there, and that's just, you know, between 31 and the train track and KR, you can't camp in our backyard, so it's just going to put us over the top, but thank you for listening.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Marie Lewis. My address is 8611 36th Avenue, and I'm the core administrator at the Salvation Army. And we at the Salvation Army work very hard all year round to help our citizens in the community of Kenosha County. And we are very grateful to you and the service that you do for us and the support that you give us. And I just wanted to express that to you, that we are grateful for that. I'm aware that you are considering making December Salvation Army Month in Kenosha, and I appreciate that, and thank you very much for it. December is part of our red cattle season, which is critical for Salvation Army and all that we do, because those are the funds that we bring in. 100% of them stay in Kenosha County, and it's what helps our people, our community, those that are in need. It helps our programs, our pantry program, our youth program, our social assistance programs, and all of those things. And for us, we are just very grateful to our community and the generosity of the community, and we can't do it without our community or you and your support. So basically, I want to say thank you for that. Now, I do know that the Kenosha mayor has set forth a challenge to all of the elected officials to match his $50 donation. I'm just saying that. I'm not pushing. But if you're willing to do that, we really appreciate it, and it will go to great use. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. Any other citizens? Citizens' comments? Please state your name and address to the record, please.
Hi, my name is Kathy DeVerney, and I live at 5602 First Place. I'm also in Summers, and I am a neighbor of Kathy Dahl's. I have 3 concerns that I'd like to address, and eventually like someone with authority to get back to me on. I know that tonight's not a place for you to respond. But my first comment is at the public informational meeting earlier this year in Mount Pleasant, I believe it was July 12th, the DOT provided a project overview to reconstruct KR from Highway H to Old Green Bay Road. There were a number of drawings to illustrate the impact to property owners along the route. At the October 17th PIM meeting, entirely new drawings were presented in which it was suggested that First Place be extended to accommodate 5 property owners east of the Union Pacific tracks that will no longer have access to KR once the new bridge that's going to go over the tracks is constructed. To do so, they'll need to go through the house at the end of First Place. Imagine the homeowner's surprise when he learned at this public informational meeting from a homeowner that just happened to be attending that meeting that the road was proposed to go right through his house. No one with authority had ever even notified him. That would be Kenosha County, I believe. I actually had the opportunity to review the letter that Kenosha County sent to the 5 property owners in question. The memorandum of understanding made it sound as though all 5 property owners attended the 1017 PIM and expressed a desire to be bought out. I spoke to one of the property owners who attended the meeting. There were questions as to what a buyout would look like and if reasonable, would be taken under consideration, but never did all 5 owners state they were all in favor of a buyout. This was an all or nothing deal. Regardless, the memorandum didn't even give them a number, it just said fair market value. And then the question would be, I would have, what is fair market value? Who determines fair market value? Is it based on the value 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, before they knew they were going to have a 10-foot wall in front of their house, or after? And my personal comment is how unfair that the county would want all 5 owners to sign over their property, not even knowing what they may be paid for it. The residents of Bike Subdivision signed a petition expressing their opposition to the extension of First Place, citing it potentially opens the door to further develop the lots that are west of the subdivision, east of the tracks, and south of KR. And as it's my understanding that that petition was hand-delivered to Jim Cruiser. I have traded numerous correspondence with Clement Abangwa, who insists that the design team is only looking to provide access for the 5 properties who currently have access to KR. If this is truly the case and there's no other resolution, I would like to see Kenosha County have their corporate counsel draft a document confirming no other development will have use to the proposed extension, that any further development would need to have their own separate access. And then my second comment is in regards to the multi-use path that was completed late this summer on the south side of KR west of 31, so that's the path that Kathy referenced. It's my understanding that the bridge, the pathway, and all the newly planted trees will be coming out. And I think someone needs to be held accountable for this enormous waste of money. Again, I've had multiple conversations with Mr. Abangwa regarding this. His comments were that this was all started before anyone knew Foxconn was coming, which would result in the KR reconstruction. To this, I say BS. Even so, the elevation of the bridge is not high enough to sustain waters after a heavy rain. So who didn't properly engineer that or set the bridge site correctly? One of our neighbors actually talked to a worker working on the bridge, and that worker commented that they should be stopping right where they're at as it was all eventually coming out. And then just to note, just with this last rain, the path itself was underwater. So again, who set the elevation to that? There is now also conversation per David Nguyen, I don't know how to say his name, the DOT project manager, that the ditch will need to be dug deeper and wider, almost to the Dahl's garage to accommodate the water runoff on KR once KR is reconstructed. And again, this after the county spent quite a bit of money on privacy trees along the easement. So that would be the trees that were planted along Kathy's lot line. Surely there has to be a better solution to accommodate any additional runoff. The ditch is already 5 to 6 feet deep. Why does it need to be deeper and wider? Why can't a storm sewer line or pipe be buried alongside the road to drain into Pike River? Lastly, I'd like to make a plug for the alternate plan for KR proposed by Janine Brockmeyer. As I understand it, she met with members of the Kenosha County
Ma'am,
Board.
can you please wrap it up? Your time is up.
Yep. Do you want to finish it, Ron? Do your 5 minutes? I have two more sentences.
I'll give you a little bit of latitude. Thank you.
I would like to formally ask the board and the powers that be give their serious consideration. A comment was made that it would be too costly to construct a bridge over Pike River and to purchase land. To that I say there's already a plan in place to redo the KR bridge, both bridges in fact, and that there will also have to be land acquisition. So in my opinion, that's not much of an argument. So in closing, I would just like you to take the time to actually review that petition and to review the alternate plan and not just blow it off. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Citizens' comments? Any other citizens' comments? Seeing none, citizens' comments are closed. Moving on. Announcements of the chairman. I have a few. I'd like to welcome Haley Esposito from the PDEC Committee from Youth and Governance, who's here tonight. Welcome. I want to talk to the supervisors about our holiday party, which is 2 weeks from tonight. I welcome everybody. I would like everyone to be there to actually enjoy some time with our spouses and significant others other than the aspect of county government and spend some time together as an entity without having to go back and forth and discuss issues that we do so often on a daily basis. And secondly, I have talked with Corporation Counsel repeatedly on this, and so one of the things that make our county board run so effectively and efficiently is our committee structure. Under our rules, all matters are supposed to be vetted by an appropriate committee so that when it comes time to board action, the heavy lifting is done and the hard questions have been asked and answered. More and more, the matters that we consider are drafted to us by staff rather than originating from supervisors. The rules note that the matters that are to become before the county board shall be referred to the appropriate committee. Recently, this referral has often been done before the matter is even placed on the county board agenda, permitting staff to simply start items in committee. While I understand that this may be some benefits from a timing standpoint to handle matters in this way, I am concerned that unless supervisors are carefully reviewing agendas, that all of the committees, not just those in which they serve, they may lose an opportunity to attend a committee hearing on an issue that's significant to them, or they have interest. Accordingly, at the first of the year, I'm instructing the matter should be placed on the county board agenda for formal referral to the appropriate committee. This will give supervisors an opportunity to see all matters before they are considered by the committee. I understand that there are some situations that may be time sensitive, and every matter needs to be looked at individually. The staff will be advised that if they can make a case for why the matter should not be placed on the first of the county board agenda for referral, I will advise that matter, and it can start at the committee level. I believe that this will ensure that we continue to do the people's work in an appropriate and timely manner while still permitting supervisors who may not serve on an individual or involved committee to be exposed to matters prior to the evening of the board and when we take them up. So if any other supervisor has any questions or concerns about this, we will start this the first of the year. They can see me after the meeting. And that's all the announcements I have. We'll start with supervisor reports. Supervisor Alverman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We held our last Public Works meeting of the year last night and went over some final projects and looking forward to next year. And I thank the staff there and all the heads of all the divisions for quite a year and an eventful year and a difficult year, and the amount of things that we accomplished. We have a similar year coming, and it was interesting to see how the weather affected everyone this year. If you look at our golf courses, we had 11 inches of rain more than normal out at Brightondale. The golf courses are going to finish in the black, which is remarkable. That attests to the lean processes that Mr. Arbit has brought into the division and the efficiency that all our people are working. You have major projects that were completed this year, all weather-related slowdowns and all completed. The public safety buildings roofing project to be one. This year we're looking at some major projects with the Anderson Arts Center, and as we've heard this evening, unprecedented amount of road projects. The acquisition for the Highway S is ongoing, and that will be done in 2019, construction to begin in 2020. And again, that will be the largest road project we've ever undertaken. The Highway F, another road project that'll be in 2020. Anderson Arts Center is going to be work that will begin this winter. Branch 1 courtroom to be finished by summer. Public safety building shooting range is just about complete. So it's a long list that I won't get into this evening, but all divisions very busy, all accomplished a lot this year, and there's, as we know, going through the budget process, many approved issues for the upcoming year, and we look forward to the challenges and a busy year. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Supervisor Gray, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Human Services had its monthly committee meeting this evening, and we had two presentations by administration staff. The first, I think you may be aware of, which is the Summer Youth Employment Program. It's been quite a successful program. It's gone on for these past 10 years. There's a few metrics and statistics I can share with you, but the long and short of it is that these at-risk youths, instead of having no outlet, no income, no training during the summer months, are actually gainfully employed in area activities, and which was news to me. A surprising amount, probably the majority, is in private businesses. I'm well aware of KD Park, Supervisor Overman, and the work that's been done out there with the at-risk youth for the county. But for these private businesses to take these at-risk youth, work with them, and pass along skills which they can utilize throughout their life is quite a big deal. The other thing that came out that was interesting is that if the youth will agree to do 60 hours of work and 12 hours of education, they can get 1/2 credit towards their high school graduation. And as the administration illustrated to us this evening, this can often mean the difference between a youth graduating high school successfully and not. So it's kind of a twofold approach that's worked out well. The bottom line on this, in 2007 rather, before this was implemented, the arrests in the inner city area exceeded 1,000 per summer. At the last count for 2018, it was down to 200 and a small amount above that, 215, 216. So if that's any type of metric and you're looking at how your tax money is spent, you're looking at how our youth can be involved and better served, that's one example. Second thing I'll detail you about is a organization within the Kenosha County Families First, and the idea is to keep children in their homes so they don't have to be outplaced for care, treatment, and that type of thing. This has been going on for now a period of time. It is a consortium between ourselves and Racine County. The Kenosha County portion used to be 40%. We had to pay 40% of the fee associated with this. But now, because we're in a consortium with Racine, the state contributes the 40% makeup, the feds do the other 60%, and basically, for the type of situations where children and families are at risk, this is a preventative measure to, again, keep them in their homes, be able to have them prosper and not be outsourced. So those are my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady. Supervisor Boyd Frederick, you have the floor.
Yes, for judiciary and law, we just had one thing on our agenda this evening, and that was for someone to go on the local emergency management committee. It has been deferred now to January. The person missed a number of meetings and was not available to make this meeting, so we'll be bringing him in January to explain why so many absences.
Thank you, Supervisor Frederick. Seeing no other supervisor reports. County Clerk?
New business, Resolution 1 reading, number 61 from Supervisor Uhas and Human Services Committee, a resolution designating December as Salvation Army Month. Supervisor Grady, aye. Gable, aye. Berg, excuse. Geschke, aye. Celebrity, aye. Nudo, aye. Rodriguez, aye.
Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
Move resolution number 61.
I have a motion by Supervisor Grady and a second by Supervisor Gable. Supervisor
Yes,
Grady.
I'd like to refer this to Supervisor Uhas. She can speak on this because she's the author of the bill.
Thank you. Supervisor Uhas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight before you, you see a resolution designating December as the Salvation Army Month in Kenosha County. The Salvation Army offers clients a food pantry, clothing, personal hygiene items, and pet food on a monthly basis. Those who need it are welcome to attend a health clinic, which is offered twice a month, or they can visit the counseling center, which is available by appointment only. The Salvation Army of Kenosha County has staffing of 3 full-time staff members and 2 lieutenants who oversee the daily operations. Everything they do is assisted by the help of volunteers. The Salvation Army serves many clients: the homeless, the elderly, those who have been incarcerated, single mothers and fathers, and those with mental health issues. They continue to serve all of these individuals with dignity and respect while helping them achieve their maximum potential. I hope that everyone tonight will join me with a favorable vote this evening declaring December as the Salvation Army Month in Kenosha County.
Thank you, Supervisor Uhas. Any discussion in regards to this resolution? Supervisor Rodriguez, the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kenosha County does a lot of good things for a lot of people. through our various departments and our staff, and I can't give them enough props for that. However, we don't hit everybody in the community, and it's organizations like the Salvation Army that pick up as well as serve others that we're simultaneously serving at the same time. And so because of that, I very enthusiastically support this resolution. I urge my colleagues to do the same tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rodriguez. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Resolution 62 from the Public Works, Facilities, and Finance Committees, a resolution for the American Transmission Company's easement request. From Public Works and Facilities Committee, Supervisor Elverman, aye. Franco, aye. Scalitsky, aye. Nordigan, aye. Uhas, aye. Poole, aye. Cardinelli, excused. From the Finance Committee, Supervisor Rose, aye. Ronald Frederick, aye. Gable, aye. Kubicki, excused. O'Day, aye. Gens, aye. Wamble, aye.
Thank you. Supervisor Alverman, you have the floor.
I move Resolution 62.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Alverman and a second by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Alverman.
This is, if you've traveled, I guess, from Paddock Lake west to Lake Geneva this year, you know that ATC is in the process of a major bit of construction on the power lines. Kenosha County, at times, has ownership of pieces of property that are residential. One of these is in a floodplain along Highway 50. The other is just south of 50 on Highway F. What ATC is asking is a permanent easement. There's going to be no disturbance of the land on these parcels. There will be a power line overhead. They offered us a payment that is typical, and the value on one, I believe, was $2,500 for the easement. The other one, I believe, was $22 or $22.50. So we would ask for your approval. Again, no land disturbance and a buildable lot yet after this is accomplished.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Any discussion in regards to this resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes.
Claims, Emma Kiskila, vehicle damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Approval of the November 20th, 2018 minutes by Supervisor Uhas.
Supervisor Uhas, you have the floor.
Motion to approve.
I have a first by Supervisor Uhas and a second by Supervisor Rodriguez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a first by Supervisor Rodriguez and a second by Supervisor Nordigan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Second it? She picked it night